Devil Hunters Chainsaw Man Chapter 162 titled Fearsome was pretty good, and I also had some problems with it. Did Quanxi deliver on being one of the most fearsome Devil Hunters in all of Chainsaw Man? Yes. Does Katana Man prove to be an idiot? Yes. Did they all get away? Yes. Is that a good or bad thing? I don't know. So let's go ahead and start with the obvious. Quanxi is without a doubt one of the strongest devils in this entire verse. No questions asked. Many of you may be saying, well, DJ Miles, that's pretty obvious. But when you just really see how easy work she makes of the War Horseman of the Apocalypse, of the Nail Fiend, and then a fellow brethren, in which that Katana Man is another hybrid slash weapons, and not even really bat a sweat in all of it is truly impressive. But then there's a moment in this chapter when Quanxi is about to strike Nobana of all people, and then Nobana is fearful, shows the head of Chainsaw Man, and then she kind of hesitates for a second, and then she puts her weapon away, and this causes Takagi, the guy with the eye patch, to really get upset at Quanxi, and he ends up saying, hey, you know, we got all your girlfriends, and if you want us to dispose of them, then you better do what I say and do the task that I assigned you to do, which is to eliminate everyone here so that we can keep the body of Chainsaw Man for whatever reason. But then before he can say anything about women specifically, this is the moment where his wife appears out of nowhere and ends up eliminating him and eating his corpse, and the Nail Fiend ends up actually saying that Katana Man did chop down the door that she was held prison in. So now, well, there you go. You got the answer as to how Takagi's wife escaped. But getting on track with Quanxi, there's a part of me that's scratching my head because we know now why she worked with public safety to get her girlfriends back, right? Pinksty, Cosmos, the other two I'm forgetting about, but then says, I don't want to fight Chainsaw Man because he's fearsome. But it's like, but you knew what the mission was beforehand, that you had to track down these perpetrators because they are getting closer to rescuing Chainsaw Man towards rescuing Denji. Why she stopped midway through? Because she felt bad for Nobana? I don't know. Or maybe I'm really just interpreting this different. But I guess this is all to say, Quanxi knew what she was there to do. Why she reluctantly stopped them? Because out of nowhere, she just had to give the key detail. An old friend told me not to harm this one because this one is far more fearsome despite me having more strength. And who is she referring to that an old friend said? It's Kishibe. Oh my god. We've been saying Kishibe's name for so many times. So now if we tap our shoes 3 times like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, then let's hope Reze believers that Reze will appear at some point. But getting the actual indirect name drop that Quanxi is referring to Kishibe means that he will most likely surface at some point, and more importantly, why the hell haven't we seen him up until now? I'm sure we have a good explanation for that down the road. But for Quanxi to ultimately say, look, I don't want to deal with this because Chainsaw Man is far more fearsome, War Devil, you just end up eliminating me because I couldn't beat you, seems feasible enough. But at the same time, does she have to actually put on a front when we just saw how formidable she really is? I don't know. I'm a little iffy about the whole Quanxi situation, but you guys let me know in the comments down below how you think about it. Now, let's go ahead and talk about more disappointment with Katana Man. Okay, now there's 2 ways you can interpret this. Katana Man was immediately decapitated because Quanxi's reflexes are just that crazy. Like, her reaction time towards Katana Man's special move is that insane that he was still decapitated, which again raises the stocks of Quanxi quite a bit, right? Or actually pretty high if you ask me. But I think the most likely scenario and what ended up happening is, given the lack of intelligence we know Katana Man seems to have, there's a part of me that really thinks that he just did a special maneuver and he just went straight first towards Quanxi, and that's how he became decapitated. She didn't do anything special. It's just that he directly went right in front of her, and that's how he ended up losing his head. Which to that, it's like, man, I know I like the power skill from time to time with Chainsaw Man because it's not really that hard to do, right? But when you put one of the hybrids, one of the most powerful weapons devils in all of Chainsaw Man, and I would even say ranked in the tiers of the weapon slash hybrids, Katana Man's intelligence is really bringing him down a notch, several pegs, and I'm just like, boy, you look so cool, but why are you a big idiot? That is very questionable to me, and I hate how much of a bozo Katana Man is. Now, I will say what was very surprising is that the Nail Fiend ended up surviving. Now, granted, Quanxi did pierce her in the stomach several times, and, you know, maybe she could be out of commission, but because we didn't outright see her eliminated at the end of the day, to me, she's still alive, and now it gets me wondering, what is Fujimoto trying to do with the Nail Fiend? And it's just a simple observation. I don't think it's going to be anything grandiose, but it's funny to see that Katana Man was decapitated, but the Nail Fiend ended up surviving all of this, and, well, you know, complimented Quanxi on her fantastic hair, and she has to know what kind of shampoo she ends up using. But I think one of the special utter delights that has happened in these past few chapters, or even in this arc, has been the surgeons. The surgeons have been funny from start to finish, and there's a moment where Quanxi, you know, she ends up revealing, hey, you know what, just put me down, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. Chainsaw Man is just, he really freaks me out. And then the surgeons are like, well, we didn't hear a goddamn thing. So shout out to the surgeons. They really added a nice comedic touch that I really appreciated so far in this prison arc. And although I'm still scratching my head as to why Quanxi even has to put on a ruse and say she was eliminated and, you know, she won't die because she's a weapon, you know, the War Devil ends up asking her, is Chainsaw Man stronger than you? And she says, hell nah, but he's far more fearsome. And I think that line, along with the title of this chapter, is something we have to keep in mind going forward with Chainsaw Man and the Nostradamus prophecy, and how all this is going to pan out. Because now that Quanxi is eliminated and Katana Man, you know, I'm sure he'll be revived at some point, it seems like this attempt to rescue Denji has more or less been successful. There's been some quirky things that has happened so far in this prison arc that we all love. I think shout out to Gilly has been one of them. Amy being beaten several times has also brought a smile to my face. I know that sounds really bad, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. And then if they do really rescue Denji, then where's the climax of this arc going to surface? Because I thought there could have been something revealing happening in this chapter. Yes, the indirect shout out to Kishibe is nice, but where's the climax of this chapter? Where are we actually going with this chapter? Unfortunately, the bi-weekly devil has now surfaced. After 6 weeks, I'm so sorry. We're going to have to wait another 14 days to find out what happens here. But so far, Fujimoto doesn't miss. And let me know what you guys ultimately think about this chapter. We will discuss more about this stuff in depth during the live discussion later on today, which you can click right here. Take care.